In my last video of recreating all of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin in Minecraft, we took a look at Chapter 4 and built all of Chica's bakery as well as the server rooms. With it being the final area of the east side of the Mega Pizzaplex, it's now time to start working on the second half of it and move along to the Glamrock Beauty Salon. So without any more further ado, let's take a look at Chapter 5 of Ruin. Like always when it comes to building parts of the Pizzaplex, I always start out by planning an outline to fill up the build with. And with the beauty salon being the biggest location in this project so far, it was very important to make sure that I knew where every detail was going to be set. This is especially important when connecting different areas together, which brings us to the second part of this build where I've also outlined everything for Captain Foxy's log ride, which is a brand new area to the DLC. In-game, this is the path we take to travel to the next area, which eventually takes us to the main attraction of the Roxy Raceway. This made it challenging to put everything together as the raceway and the beauty salon are still connected next to each other, so this build had to fit perfectly in between the two areas. However, now that I've spent some time making sure that everything is built to the same scale as in Security Breach, it's now time that we can begin working on this part of the build. So let's get right into it and get started with the time lapse. After a few hours of building, everything to do with the Glamrock Beauty Salon is now all completed. This was definitely the most challenging area to build so far, as not only is there the normal rubble and scaffolding all across the room, but also the rocky terrain that comes with the attraction's desert environment. Even the mountains have been affected by the ruins, as parts of them have been torn apart to reveal the structure of the skeleton that holds them together. Inside the salon itself is not much better, as the broken walls and collapsed ceiling have caused a lot of it to be blocked off, which adds a lot more to the already trashed rooms. Then at the back of the building is the storage room, which has the original Princess Quest arcade machine, as well as the doorway that connects the attraction back to the server room hallways. But now it's time to move on to the next part of the build and take a look at the log ride attraction underneath the mountains. Though this was never shown off in the base game of Security Breach, Ruin reveals this completely new area which spans behind the beauty salon and connects back to the Roxy Raceway. In-game, this attraction never finished its construction, but there are still plenty of details and decorations that continue with the theme of the surrounding areas. So let's get back into building and continue on with this section of the Pizzaplex. And with that, the log ride attraction has been fully built, and another part of the ruined Pizzaplex is now all completed. Though these rooms are a lot smaller in scale compared to the other areas, the amount of detail inside of each one added a fun and unique challenge to the build. The first room has been completely flooded by the running water of the log ride, and we have to jump to different platforms to avoid Monty and get to the security door to escape. After that, we then reach a more completed version of the attraction, where parts of the wall have been decorated to fit the desert environment of the beauty salon. The path through it though is very tight and compact, as construction equipment has been left behind and blocks up most of the room. Finally is a much more simple and narrow staff hallway that leads to an opening up in the wall, which directly connects to the basement staircase of the Roxy Raceway. But now with a total build time of 18 hours and 38 minutes, another section of ruin has been completed and we are one step closer to finishing the project. However, there is still one last thing to do before wrapping up, and that's to add the AR dimension to this part of the build. This changes the area to have large and exaggerated decorations all around, while also having purple glitching textures take up parts of the room. So underneath the main build is an exact copy of what we've just built, which is where all of the changes are going to be made. Once it's finished, we'll then be able to use the Vanny mask to teleport between the two builds and walk through the areas that would be blocked off in the normal world. So to end off this video, let's finish up by building the AR world and complete Chapter 5 of Ruin. With the changes now added, everything to do with this build is now all completed. As always, the glitching textures have been made by using a mix of crying obsidian to give up the purple glitching look. Then of course are the giant objects around the room, ranging from bottles inside the mountain to a giant comb hanging from the ceiling. The inside of the salon and the log ride also have a glitch look to them until the game blocks off the next area to prevent us from using the mask. Speaking of which, the mask as always works by putting on a Vanny mask player head, which will then teleport us down to the build below. Then to return back to the normal world again, we just have to simply take it off to continue on our way. In all, this was once again another very fun build to put together, and we can now call another section of the Mega Pizzaplex complete. But that is now going to wrap it up for today's video. I really do hope that you enjoyed this episode, as it was a lot of fun to put together. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on. That way you can help support me throughout this build. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I will of course see you in my next video.